Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to week 9 of the Throttle Freaks GT3 Championship. As tonight, we arrive at one of the most legendary circuits, breathtaking in views, and one of our technical runs right here at Suzuka. My name is Stephen Koenig, and joining me in the booth is the one, the only Richard Swindells, our fellow commentator. On the buttons is Rob Campbell, and all the cameras provided by TrackCam22. Richard, welcome to Suzuka. Hope you've been enjoying the sights and sounds much like myself here at Throttle Freaks, and also going and enjoying our practice, because it looks like we are in for a championship, and then towards the closing of it, that is nail-biting.
Yeah, we're here on week 9 of 10. Over flying well across the ocean. We're in Japan at Suzuka, the home track of the one and only Colin McKenzie's Acura. This track was opened in 1962. Wow, that's an old one now. 5.8 kilometers, 3.6 miles, 18 corners. Legendary circuit. I'm really looking forward to see what these drivers can do here tonight.
With that being said, let's take a look at our points, because in the pro category, Joshua Chinsky sits on 352 points, but Travis Newsom, closing down on him, sits on 349. His teammate, Tyler Cateau, sits with 347 points. That's 2 points separating the teammates, and I don't think there's going to be friends amongst foes. David Bush III holds 4th place with Matt Schiff, Caleb Lehman, Herbert Pineda, and rounding out will be Jeff Evans.
Yeah, in the Pro-Am category, Felix Feliz has got a pretty healthy lead over Seb Gauthier. Seb Gautier's got a much bigger lead over Jason Park. And then we have Colin McKenzie close by, Dale Peterson, Kevin Berquist, Jacob Figner, and Andrew Trickett.
And taking a look at our AM category, David Morse sits 2 points ahead of Caleb Selner, along with Cesar Jimenez in 3rd place. Ian Cabana in 4th. Neil Alexander holds 5 points ahead of Dave Jensen. Chris Lum on 171. And Barry Cochran rounding out in 8th place on 151.
And we also have a teams championship going on here. I-75 Motorsports. Just putting on a dominating performance so far this season, especially of late. They've got a strong 127-point lead over Madworks Lunatics, Riot Motorsports North, close in 3rd. Then we have SRT White, SRT Purple, rounding out the top 5.
Going and taking a look a little bit as Crikey Esports sitting in 6th. They trying to play a bit of points. But as we brought up, this is round 9 here at Suzuka. One more round after, and we go to Montgomery Court. But we have to get past the Japanese circuit. That can be a big change in the championship. And let's see who's going to be able to move forward with that. And I've got to say, I'm really looking forward to tonight's race because I-75 Motorsports have been working with one another, namely these two cars out on track, Tyler and Travis, who is going to be able to get one up on the other. They've battled it out and also played the team game of no after you, but now it comes down to how close they are in the championship and also what they need to do to get ahead of Joshua Chinsky at the same time. I mean, we're in for a knife fight up in our pros. We got a knife fight in the AM category, a little bit of a bun fight in the pro am. This race might be the make or break for the championships, but I don't think we're going to see the friends on the circuit. I think if there's a gap, you show a person an inch, they're going to go for a mile.
Yeah, I think taking a look here at the I-75 Motorsports drivers, right now though, Tyler Cato is in 6th and Travis Newsom is 8th early in qualifying, so they're well down from Joshua Chinsky, William Fenson, Felix Feliz. As I say that, Tyler Cato up to 2nd place. So I'll just be quiet, Stephen, because I obviously spoke a little bit too soon, and we'll see what happens to the next lap by. Maybe it's Travis Newsom's turn to get the draft and see what happens.
One of those ones of no, it wasn't a good enough time. Just keep going. I'll follow you again. Please don't stress. Well, Joshua Chinsky out in first place thus far with a 158.124 ahead of Tyler Cato, and then you've got William Fenson trying to play a little bit of catch up on a stellar charge, might I add, in his Ferrari. Been improving all season long and looking to take a sharp run to the top. Felix Feliz leads out his class and he runs in 4th place with Jason Park, so it's good to see the Pro-Am getting more involved into the fight, also sitting in the 158, but a bit on the higher side, a 158.7 as his best lap time, with Jason Park chasing him down, also just mere hundredths of a second behind in 5th. David Bush III holds on to 6th. Herbert Pineda, Travis Newsom in 8th now with Seb Gauthier, and 10th going Colin McKenzie in that Acura. We here at Japan, it's time to see the Acura / Honda get its way to the top.
Yeah, that's going on. I was just about to say David Morse is our championship season leader, is first in amateur, but Ian Cabana has just jumped ahead of him, so got a nice close battle in qualifying for the amateur championship as well. So everybody's battling really hard here. As we take a look at Matt Mars on screen, there's Ian Cabana, David Morse, the two amateur leaders right now in qualifying thus far.
Giving it everything they can, and it looks like a bit of marbles building up just underneath the bridge. This driver's dropping a wheel off on the left-hand side, bringing all the rubble to it, and doesn't quite help the drive. And for anyone that's fighting for those crucial split seconds, it is an absolute nightmare to have those marbles just dirting up the circuit, because by the time you get to the top of the hill, it's not quite clear on the tires, and everyone having to just be that little bit more cautious here for qualifying, especially at Suzuka, on a circuit that naturally is very tight, very hard to get around, especially the entire first sector when you're busy snaking your way through. Well, you ain't going to be diving up on the inside of every other driver. Unfortunately, that lands up with you running into trouble.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some maybe off tracks for sure. You got the Degner corners. They always make for some interesting happenings, especially as we take a look here. If you're getting up too high on that curbing, get too high up on the curbing, and it really can throw you off. But Brett Thurman managed to negotiate that quite well. The other corner really to look out for, I think, is Spoon Curve. A little later on in the track, it's a little tricky to get right, and you overshoot that. Luckily, there's a fair amount of runoff here on this F1 great track, but man, it can be very testy.
Suzuka has also seen its fair share of, well, big moments. The 130R, it's synonymous for drivers getting it a little bit wrong, running out wide, getting into one another as well. And I think with what we're seeing here in qualifying, how close the times are, as Joshua Chinsky leads out. But take a look, Jason Park up into second place, managing just to go 0.1 slower than Joshua Chinsky. So Jason Park, all the way out from Canada, Riot Motorsports, not going and holding back ahead of William Fenson and Tyler Coteau and Seb Gutierrez. I mean, these are absolutely quick times, but the question is, are they going to be a little bit calmer when it comes to the start of the race as qualifying has come to an end?
Yeah, I guess we'll see. It's just a matter of moments or minutes or just a very short time. But Seb Gauthier, we take a look at him. Seb Gauthier had a good result last week. As he said, he's not necessarily the guy who's going to win the race, but he's really tries to base his season on consistency, and he's done a good job of that this season.
A steady climb up through the order with Felix Flees on the back of him. Porsche versus Ford off the bat is going to be an interesting one as Seb pulls into the pits. Dave Bush the third, down in 9th position in the Lamborghini, the lone Lambo through 130R. Going and keeping a solid drive right now. Late on the brakes, in through the Casio triangle, right, left, and over the curbs as well. Just getting a bit unsettled. Decides, nah, not up on my time, gonna rather pit. That's me done for qualifying. While others are still trying to just get that one little lap time, that little bit more, to see if they can jump up. William Fenton, also one of those drivers that have just come swinging every time at the racetrack, but just towards the last half of the season has really been on a big push to stay at the front.
Yeah, he's certainly not one of those drivers who takes it easy at any stretch of the imagination. And here's one of our typically our in-car camera from the UK, James Hand, coming across the line to complete his qualifying effort. Right now, James Hand is sitting in a 30th. Robert Jeffries is still out on track. I don't know if he's going to get across the line before timing expires, though.
Well, with roughly 40 seconds, Robert Jeffries better keep his foot firmly on the throttle. I just got to ask, James Hand with a new livery out on that McLaren. It's looking a little bit more blue than it was last time. And I think it's going to catch us off guard. I'm so used to a bit of a silver car, a bit of, something out there. Now, looking like just a normal race car. That's a bit weird.
Well, I mean, maybe he's just trying to mix it up. He hasn't had his greatest results the last two races. Maybe a little change. And no, Robert Jeffries gets caught by the clock. And that is it. Qualifying's over, folks.
Well, hopefully he doesn't change it every single race. That will really confuse the commentators. But with that being said, let's take a look at our grid. On row 1, it's Joshua Chinsky and Jason Park locking out the row. Right behind them is going to be William Fenton and Tyler Coteau fighting for that win. Tyler needing every point in the bag as Seb Gauthier and Travis Newsom are on row 3. Heading over to row 4, it's Felix Feliz and Jay Steffi in P8. P9 is going to be David Bush III, and Brett Thurman, the Bad Santa, lies in 10th.
Row 6, we've got Herbert Pineda in 11th and David Morse, our top amateur, in 12th. Row 7, we've got Colin McKenzie with Andrew Trickett. In 15th place, Kevin Berquist, strong qualifying effort, along with Andrew Bernaro. Row 9, we have Dale Peterson and Matt Scherf. And Jacob Figner, Ian Cabana round out our top 20.
And they're not done. P21 is Cesar Jimenez and Sean Provost sitting in 22nd position. Andrew Els will be chasing him down with Jack Polyak in the BMW. He's had a couple of rough runs, but hoping to turn his luck around. Neil Alexander and Caleb Selner holds on to P26. All further down from them is Andy Mills and Matt Mars in 28th, with Justin Welsh and James Hand in 30th. Two cars sitting at the back is Robert Jeffries and Barry Cochran.
A nice 32 car field for tonight's race. here at Throttle Freaks, they always try and give a short pace slap. It helps us out as commentators. Does not help out the drivers, though. You see them aggressively trying to get those tires warm. Track temp right now is only, I believe, about 20 degrees Celsius. So you take a look at Joshua Chinsky and Jason Park up at the front, doing everything in their power. Get these tires warmed up with just a couple of more corners. Not a whole lot of time to get that done.
A little light fog doesn't quite help, especially as you can get very short-sighted into your brake markers. The corners sort of fading away to you as well. And don't blame the commentators on the short pace lap. Don't do that. That we did not choose the short pace lap.
Yeah, well, hey, I don't know about that.
Well, let's take a look at how it's going to go. Front row, Joshua Chinsky and Jason Park ready to go. Our safety car will be minding off the circuit, and the drivers at the ready. Second last round of the season, and it all comes down to this. Who has got the jump off the line as we get ready? Lights on, lights on, lights on. And green, green, green. We are racing, and immediately Chinsky's on the throttle and gone from the field. He does not want to hang around. While Jason Park having to go a little bit defensive with William Fenson trying to get round him. Dave Bush III trying to make his climb. He's under the fight with Brett Thurman at the moment, the two of them. Door to door, up and down. Matt Schiff also dropping a little bit further down from his starting position.
Yeah, Joshua Chinsky taking full advantage of that pole position. He got set the pace, and set the pace he did. He got off to a great start. Jason Park, those holding on to second, really, of the top four drivers, sitting where they started. The only person, and we got Travis Newsom back there making a move. We got Colin McKenzie on a heater. So right now, good close battling. All these drivers, we're coming up through, a little bit of an incident there, and that is Andrew Trickett and I believe Colin McKenzie. But everybody is doing all right. Heck of a save there, and everybody keep going. So everybody got through the orange zone, the first 9 corners, before anything kind of happened as we watched drivers going through hairpin.
I think there's more than just skid marks on the track after that one. What a save. But Colin McKenzie going and minding out of the way from everyone, sat behind him. A tip of the hat of a sorry Arwinton got you in that little bit of a predicament, and allowing the driver to retake his position ahead of him. Unfortunately, both drivers down the order. Now, this is where an interesting fight is going to brew. Tyler ahead of Travis Newsom as he dips a wheel onto the right-hand side, trying to see if he can get past William Fenson, but also needing to guard the line. Neil Alexander, though, not looking so great coming out of Spoon, and we do have another Ferrari looking a little bit worn out, and that's Caleb Selner, who's just trying to bring his car back. So Neil Alexander, a bit of damage to his car. Let's take a look at what happened. This is Jack Polyak. Did he also get involved in it? Oh, I think he did when there was a Merc in the way.
Yeah, that was coming around the exit of Spoon Corner there, I believe, and that was kind of not unexpected. Spoon's very, very tricky. Cars can get back in, can get a little light. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. Take a look on board here with Matt Mars, looking at all the calamity up ahead of him. Matt Mars going up on the AstroTurf, trying to avoid the spinning cars. Looks like he got through relatively cleanly. Matt Mars, very good foresight to get out of the way, and you look at the rear view. And yeah, unfortunately, that's going to end the night for Jack Polyak, probably Jacob Bigner, Caleb Selner, who was battling hard for the AM Championship with David Morse. He's not going to get a whole lot of points tonight.
Matt Barnes going move over with that new livery looking like a cow. But that being said, fastest laps being done in each class. Joshua Chinsky, Jason Park, and David Morse. So they are on a hard charge up through the order as Matcher next to try and hold back Ian Cabana to make their way through the hairpin. A very difficult corner as you get on the power a little too early. It's very easy to rotate the car and land up having a bit of a problem. But I think there is a number of body parts left out at Spoon Curve for any repair work after seeing a multitude of cars taken out there. Question is, can they keep going?
Somebody just spun going into Spoon there. I'm not sure who that was in the background, but Spoon's providing to, I mean, it's just being a little bit treacherous so far. We're only on lap 2 here, folks.
Might have been Andrew Trickett who fell down some more places that BMW went and decided, nope, it's not going to get much grip. This is a circuit you've got to really choose what you want to have. Something that will keep you completely stuck to the ground, or you got something that's, well, going to get you top end. This, what type of setup do you really got with you? And Colin McKenzie and Andrew Trickett were together. Andrew goes off, Colin near miss. The two of them nearly having a meeting of minds like earlier.
Man, Colin, well, take a look at Jay Steffi there. And lots of close battling, and fortunately, no big incidents there. So, man, this has been lots of close, hard racing here so far, Steven. It's not unexpected at Suzuka, especially this late in the season.
It's going to be one to keep an eye out, though, because if the drivers are pushing this hard, what is it going to look like for strategies? Joshua Chinsky has opened up that lead to the likes of Jason Park and William Fenton, but also Tyler and Travis getting stuck together once again. They can pull each other along, but they also, in their own championship fights, have got to be careful, as Jay Steffi is closing onto Travis Newsom. Tyler's trying to punch his way through William Fenton and Jason Park at the moment, but it seems like the Ferrari's a little bit on a little bit of pace here at the circuit versus the likes of the Porsche. But we're starting to get a bit more sunlight. The mist has risen, and now drivers can see a little bit more. It's the rising sun coming and showing and saying, right, come, you're not going to go and fall off the circuit now. Even though it was set to cloudy, it's looking far better than how it started. We're only on lap 3.
Yeah, it's only 20 after 7 in the morning here in Japan. So, as you said, the drivers, finally the sun's coming up, the fog's burning off, and they're racing. But take a look here at Jason Park. Jason Park having that good battle here, holding off William Fenton, Tyler Cato, and Travis Newsom behind. So right now, Joshua Chinsky almost about a 2-second lead over the big pack following up behind. I mean, this is what Joshua Chinsky loves to see. Get a little bit of a gap, let the guys battle it out behind them, and just kind of walk away.
I'm trying to figure out how wide can he make his Ferrari, and how wide can William make his Ferrari. Seeing, okay, can we make this the 4x4 equivalent, where it's a little bit wider in body and a little less, well, that you want to get anywhere close to it and try and chase off Tyler Cato at the moment. But then you got Kevin Bergquist, who's been on a steady climb as well. Has had a few rough runs in the season, but now up to 4th in class, chasing down Felix Feliz in the Mustang that's ahead. But he's got a bit of work to try and get it done and dusted at the moment, as he's trapped behind a few competitors before he can catch up to his own class leader.
Yeah, we're taking a look. Speaking of class leaders, that's Kevin Bergquist following along behind David Morse. So Kevin Bergquist having a solid day so far. He's up 2 positions. Certainly 4th in class. I like watching the more experienced gentlemen racers here in Throttle Freaks. And certainly Kevin Bergquist, one of those, and has been a long-time member. He's been here since day 1, folks, and continuing to apply pressure to David Morse.
As Winston pointed out, Dave Morse, who's been improving, and well, he's just thankful to go and have a huge amount of fun out there. And just remember when we did an interview with David Morse, he was just saying, got to try and keep it all together, keep it on the black stuff, and try not look in the mirrors too much. He's having to do that now and trying to keep slightly ahead. Herbert Pineda, however, up into 11th. He's trying to get back into the top 10, needing to try and make up some ground, as that's Herbert Pineda. Commentators curse, talk about it, and the person goes off. Sorry, Herbert. I'll take that one.
Yeah, Herbert Pineda, unfortunately, it's a couple times this season we've called out Herbert. We've shown him on camera, and it's almost like he knows, Stephen, and rather unfortunate. But look a little bit further back in the field here. Dale Peterson currently in 16th place. Following along behind Ian Cabana. Ian Cabana in 15th. Ian Cabana having a strong effort thus far. He's up 5 positions, folks. 5 positions. He's in second in class in the amateur category. So teammate of Kevin Bergquist, Ian Cabana, had himself a solid drive.
Going and having a bit of fun out there, and he's just having to keep an eye on Colin McKenzie very late on the brakes. That little Acura is potent around the circuit, and an absolute joy, especially on fixed setup. It's one of the very few cars that, with a fixed setup and on Suzuka, doesn't have too much understeer, doesn't have too much oversteer, and you can just start putting a little bit more pressure onto the rear tires. The grip on the rear is just, it's there. You feel a lot more confidence on the cars versus a lot of the other street circuits. But also now having with Ian Cabana ahead of him, it's going to get a little bit of that aero wash, especially through 130R. So got to be careful holding in 5th gear, absolutely keeping it in check before late on the anchors down into the Casio triangle. You can see how late he closed up on everyone, nearly into the back of Dale Peterson. But man, oh man, was it a sniff.
Yeah, Colin McKenzie, that earlier incident cost him a lot of positions, but his pace is right up there with the people in the top 5-6. So if he can get by these guys, he's going to be a weapon to watch. But going a little wide there at first corner, that's going to cost him a little bit of time.
On the lower right-hand side, we've got Felix Feliz fighting out against Brett Thurman, the bad Santa, looking to see if Felix is on the naughty list or whether he's going to be one to forget about. Well, Brett Thurman not holding back. Team SRT Black have been working hard. The entire SRT team been trying to go out and out for the championship win, and also fighting out for a team championship win, but haven't had the best of luck. It's been on and off for Brett Thurman. Last race wasn't quite where he wanted it to be. However, this time he is absolutely on a mission to try and get himself right to the sharp end of the field. First things first, the Mercedes V8 power needs to get past the Dawn V8 power of a Ford Mustang. Which of the front engines, which of the V8s is, well, truly the strongest V8?
Oh, the one in front, obviously. Right now, that's Felix Feliz. But Justin Welch, take a look at it. Justin Welch in 24th place right now. Justin Welch having a solid effort. He's up 5 positions right now, and having himself a little battle here, trying to close in on Robert Jeffries, who's up 8 positions. So 2 drivers going through Spoon Curve. You can see how a little bit tricky that is. But now that the tires are heated up, we're on lap 6. Things are starting to calm down a little bit through there. We're about 12 minutes into this 45-minute race. Drivers are going to have to stop for fuel at some point, Stephen.
That's always where it goes and turns on its head and really makes things a bit of a fall away. Now, I'm going to once again put you in the hot seat, Richard, because, well, coming from driving all sorts of vehicles, you've been in the league before, you've fought out against these drivers. When will you think being the best time to dive into the pits will be, considering the grid hasn't really gone and opened up to everyone?
Well, if you're Joshua Chinsky, you go as late as possible because you don't want to come out in traffic. Anybody else, for the most part, if you're getting held up, maybe dive in a little earlier. Get in a lap or 2 earlier ahead of the guy ahead of you who you think's a little slower than you. Otherwise, I'm always a fan of as late as possible. Get that lighter fuel load. Make sure you don't give up track position. Make sure you don't get caught in traffic. Take a look at, speaking of traffic, I mean, you've got, 6, 7 cars in a train right now. And if you come out and you're stuck in that, maybe you come out, you're Jason Park, you come back in, and you're in the middle of, a 4-car battle, it's going to really cost you a lot of time.
Andrew Venaro looking to try and move a little bit up the train at the moment. Got a phenomenal run out of the hairpin, trying to see if that's going to help him out, though. Looks towards the inside of Kevin Bergquist, couldn't quite get it done, had to slot himself back in, and now aiming for 130, but coming out of Spoon a little bit slow, and immediately had matched Sheriff right onto the back of him, and trying to close up that distance in the Chevrolet. I mean, this is turning into a bit of a yo-yo affair. You make up ground, you lose ground, you got to try and figure out what to do. But as you head through the 130R, having a little more pressure on the nose, Matt was a bit more comfortable. He dives down the inside into the Casio, got the pass, done and dusted, but was lost to the late breakers for sure.
Yeah, that's using all the track, and then a little bit extra was Matt Sharp, but it was solid. I mean, no contact. The other driver saw him coming, Andrew Venaro. No contact, so hey, well done. And take a look here at Colin McKenzie's 15th place there. Well, I'm not looking at Colin McKenzie. I am looking at Colin McKenzie, not 15th place. He's in 17th place. Still trying to get by. He's got Dale Peterson, Ian Cabana, Andrew Venaro. Really, McKenzie really wanted to get clear of these drivers going through Snake here, and it's a really tough area. You're not going to get any passing done here unless somebody makes a huge mistake.
Put your nose in and try and force them offline. This is the tricks to Suzuka, that you think it's a simple circuit, it's one that everyone knows, but when you actually get on the track, you realize it's a little bit harder than you think, and can also humble you very, very quickly. The walls are a lot closer. Even though there's a little bit of grass, a little bit of sand, those walls tend to have magnets and draw you in quite quickly.
They certainly do. Take a look here at Sean Provo battling along with Cesar Jimenez and Andrew Ellis. They coming through hairpin. Provo not getting the exit he was hoping for. That hairpin corner can be a little bit tricky. You really got to get it right. You got to get on the power quite early. Get that car rotated. But Provo losing out on a bunch of track time there.
Now, way down the wire. And also your gearing in terms of, do you go in first? Do you go in second? What's the plan? Are you going to be too high in the revs, too low in the revs? And, well, unfortunately for Sean Provo, he wasn't as early as he was meant to be on the gas. And you pointed out that gap just extending. One gap that's not extending. Felix Feliz at the moment trying to break away from Brett Thurman. The two V8 monsters chasing each other down, with Seb Gauthier just ahead of them, and right behind, waiting for his chance, laying the pipelines for victory. It's David Bush, who's trying to see if he can really make it work, entering turn 1, down into third for turn 2, and powering out before he makes his way through the snake.
Yeah, Dave Bush the third, always in the Lamborghini, and always representing it quite well. He's driven that car consistently every single race that he's been in at Throttle Freaks, and he's been here since the beginning. So Dave Bush third, and no stranger to that car, no stranger to this track, and no stranger to strong performances. But right now in 10th, not the race he's hoping for. I'm sure he's looking for a little bit more than he's got right now.
Just going, is there 2 more cylinders that I can utilize, Lambo? Just 2 more, just an extra 2. I know that you took 2 out for the new car. You could put 2 back in this one and make it a V12. But Brett Thurman all over the back of Felix Feliz was able to get the run. But let's take a look at what happened to Andy Mills heading into turn 1. And running out wide, the Porsche gets a little snap. He catches it, and unfortunately coming into turn 2, it snaps out underneath him. Just playing a little bit of catch-up. The moment you're playing catch-up to the car, especially around a cold circuit, well, never ends rather well. You tend to make your front engine a rear engine, or your rear engine a front engine.
No!
Much like William Fenson has found himself in the wall and out of the running.
Yeah, William Fenson, one of those drivers, always has a lot of pace. And he's either going to be, he's one of those checkers or wreckers guys, and it seems to be, and there he comes at the exit of Spoon, and he's just way off track, way off line, stayed in and didn't get out of it, caught the Armco barrier, and that ends his morning here at Suzuka.
Not what you wanted to have, and especially he's had such a phenomenal start for it to just land up with a backed into the wall. Hopefully they can get that car sorted out and try and salvage some points for the championship, and it's never one that you want to throw away. but it's going to be a little bit of hard work to try and bring himself back up through the order. Brett Thurman, however, trying to chase down Felix Feliz, and you can see two very different lines going in and out. They're trying to see how they can one-up one another and also just apply a little bit more pressure, getting out of that slipstream, just getting a little bit of aero on the nose to help them out, especially because of Suzuka's very tight cornering. You can land up with a world of hurt. It's also quite quick out there, so you want to have that little bit of downforce just to keep you going. But David Bush III is closing up on these two. They're holding each other up hugely through every sector, and David Bush III closing up now 1.3 seconds behind, and he's looking to join the duo, turn it into a trio, and I'm sure David Morse and Kevin Bergquist further back will be wanting to make it a little bit bigger than that.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, that's going on. I mean, Felix Feliz there, he's the lead forward, but ahead of him, we've got a huge contingent of Porsches with Tyler Cato, Travis Newsom, Jay Steffi, Seb Goche, all occupying spots 3 through 6. So Porsche's doing quite well, and Tyler Cato now closing that gap right down on Jason Park. Jason Park holding on for dear life right now because Tyler Cato looks like he's got this figured out in the Porsche. He's got a 4-second gap to teammate Travis Newsom behind, hunting down Jason Park as we come down the pit road straightaway, going into first corner. Tyler Cato doesn't have any overlap. He's continuing to follow along though.
And one thing he is doing is saving a bit of fuel. The more that she's running behind Jason Park, he can lift off that little bit, save a bit of fuel, and if possible, might be able to edge a lap out and see if he can move forward. So far, Joshua Chinsky's big advantage, even he stated during the championship, is the Chev is able to run that little bit longer on a tank. Maybe Tyler is doing the same thing. Utilize Jason Park a little bit more, see if he can stretch the tank of the Porsche just that little bit, try and change the fuel lines to the size of a sippy straw.
That is certainly one way of doing it. One thing I'm a little surprised at though, this race tonight, usually we see Tyler Cato and Travis Newsom kind of nose to tail working together as teammates, but Tyler Cato definitely has a little bit more pace than teammate Travis Newsom, so they're not able to work together. That means Tyler's got to fight Jason Park all on his own. We're going to go back a little further through the field with the hairpin. We got Ian Cabana coming up right up close onto Andrew Venaro. Both drivers getting through clean, but this pack continues to battle on, and Colin McKenzie not able to make any gains here. Colin McKenzie's in 16th. He's got one position back, but still down 3 on the day.
Still mountains, but now he's got to try and get past Dale Peterson, who we've seen is able to make that car extremely wide when he needs to. And well, I think he's going to be doing every bit of it. Currently running 6th in class, 15th overall, and is trying to carry as much drive as possible as we get some of the speed cams brought to you by Track Cams for Gourmet. I always love that shot when the camera's on the ground and the GoPro gets driven over more than once, and gives you a bit of an idea of how quick they're coming out and into corners, really utilizing just that little bit of pace out on the circuit here at Suzuka. And also just some beautiful shots and scenery. I mean, that you can't tell me that little train of cars is not a screensaver moment.
Well, that's for sure. The great cameras as always, and great production by the man in the booth, the man, the myth, the legend, and the founder of Racer Nexus, Rob Campbell. So these guys continue to battle on. Dale Peterson doing a great job of holding off Colin McKenzie. So it's just kind of it's just a train. They're just following each other and not a whole lot of action in terms of passing, but David Morse kind of leading this train. He's got a little gap to Kevin Bergquist. David Morse still holding first place in the amateur division. He's in 10th, up 2 positions.
Absolutely great stuff. And just saw Justin Welsh pulled into the pits, and possibly might be one of a normal stop for him that we'll keep an eye out on where he climbs up through the field. David Morse, however, not looking to slow down. He's got Ian Cabana in 2nd place in the AM class trying to close up, and Ian Cabana's got the fastest lap, but he might be the fastest, not necessarily going to try get the easiest come around, as David Morse has got Kevin Bergquist all over the back of him. Plus, he's also got Matt Sheriff to protect him and Andrew Venaro before Ian Cabana can even think about touching him. So there's a number of cars to protect David Morse, but they're racing for overall position here, and David doing everything he can to maintain his position. Running out wide into the 130R, a bit of a confidence break as well, just to keep the car in check into the Casio triangle, and Kevin Bergquist comes right onto the back of him, seeing if he can have a go. Hopefully we don't have a Ayrton Senna, Alan Prost moment into the Casio triangle.
Well, it makes for entertaining broadcast, but yeah, the drivers certainly don't like it, and we like to see some good, clean racing here. Take a look here, Kevin Bergquist. He's doing a good job, folks. He's hunting down David Morse, but Dave Morse doing a good job. We take a look here. These are Jimenez. Look, oh my goodness gracious, look at this battle going on. I'm just loving this. This is great action at Suzuka. Tough track to pass at, but overall it's been a relatively clean race thus far.
Some great racing indeed. We also seeing a couple of other drivers going into the pit, so it's definitely a thought for a number of drivers of, okay, let's start getting cars sorted out, let's see what we can do, try and make up some time. Andrew Venaro diving into pit lane to get himself sorted out. He's going to be hoping to pop out ahead of the pack. Felix Feliz dealing with Brett Thurman. Bad Santa going, and once I think Brett Thurman's now successfully wrote Felix Feliz naughty list. Done. Hasn't let me buy as yet. He's made a Mustang that's 4 times the size of what it should be.
Well, Felix Feliz is he's not gonna let Brett buy. It's the front engine cars, rear wheel drive cars. It's Ford versus Mercedes, and right now Felix Feliz has done what he needs to do for a considerable amount of laps. Now he's going a little defensive, taking the inside line going into 130R. That's always a little tough. And Brett Thurman getting a good exit, but for now, just able to hold on behind him.
That was a deep breath moment for both. There's no way both of those cars didn't take a deep breath as Brett Thurman decides he's going to get into the pit lane. I mean, being stuck on the outside with a car on the inside of you would also give me a fright to pull into the pits. Kevin Bergquist along with Ian Cabana pulling into the pits. So first of our major pit stops coming in here from the top 15, and now let's see where they come out and how close to the sharp end of the field at the end of the race. Joshua Chinsky, however, 4.5 seconds up the road from Jason Park. Did the Chef get BOP'd at all? Did it get a little bit heavier? I don't know, restrictors put on, really restricting this car, because Joshua has not missed a step. Managed to get down to a 157.9, which we didn't see in qualifying, and managing to open up that huge gap while Jason Park and Tyler Cato just fight out against one another.
I think they may have given him 2 extra cylinders from last week there, Stephen. He's doing so well. Chinsky putting on a clinic right now, but Jason Park in behind, continuing to hold off at Tyler Cato. So the Pro-Am driver doing his best and doing it well and managing to hold off one of the I-75 Motorsports drivers. Tyler's teammate Travis Newsom 4.5 seconds back. So really, this is the podium we're looking at, folks, right now. If things continue on, we've got Joshua Chinsky, Jason Park, Tyler Cato. 17.5 minutes left to go. All 3 drivers need to pit still, though.
Yeah, that's always going to change things up, as we've seen before. But Jason Park showing what he can do. And interesting to see Joshua Chinsky, first one to nail it into the pits, and Tyler reacts to try and get himself sorted. So Jason Park goes and carries on the race, but we've usually seen Joshua Chinsky go until the fuel light turns off because it's sick and tired of being ignored. He's dived into the pits, and that's also brought in Travis Newsom. It's brought in the likes of Jay Staffy, Seb Gauthier, David Morse, Matt Sheriff. I mean, everyone's now bailing into the pits, but wow. Joshua Chinsky with a major change up to what he usually does. Even SpongeBob in one of the I-75 Motorsports is wide-eyed.
No, that's true, but Josh Ochinsky, wow, yeah, it caught us all off guard with that, folks. But Jason Park didn't come in, and Jason Park continues to, climb around and drive around. Nice open track ahead of him, but it's going to be interesting to see how Tyler Cato comes out in in relation to where he was, because Tyler Cato, I think, had to make that jump. He's been held up, I think, by Jason Park for a couple of laps. I think Tyler thought he had a little better pace, came into the pits. We'll see, is going in early, the undercut going to work, or the overcut? Who's going to come out on top?
This is going to be an interesting one indeed, and the two teammates will be on the back of one another. Josh Ochinsky going and getting a big run out of the pit, so it was a splash and dash of note, and feeling the tires are still okay. He's got Colin McKenzie just ahead of him, and depending on how the fight goes with Colin McKenzie, it's either going to save time, which Travis Newsom desperately needs, being 12 seconds away from Josh Ochinsky. I do think Travis went and put on a new set of tires, and that's why it took a lot longer than Travis Newsom, who was, guys, just put in what she needs and let's just get this car across the line. Tires feel okay. It's cold circuit. Let's see what can happen. Jason Park pulls into the pits after leading out the race, and I'm sure Felix Feliz will be following suit as well.
Yeah, that's an interesting strategy, and we'll see how that all plays out. Jason Park comes into the pits, as do the last few remaining drivers, Felix Feliz, David Bush the third, and I'm expecting Herbert Pineda, Barry Cochran, and Andy Mills to come down pit lane when they get there. So Joshua Chinsky going to retake the lead here. I'm going to make a big assumption, but I don't think that's too big of a guess. Let's take a look at Jason Park exiting pit lane. We'll see where the i7 Motorsports drivers are in relation to them, but Joshua Chinsky back out on top, and yeah, that tire strategy not paying off right now. We'll see if it pays off sometime in the next 14 and a half minutes, though.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. Jason Park back ahead of Travis and Tyler, which isn't going to really help them, and they are having to work a little bit harder. But Jay Staffy right on the back of him, trying to see if he can push just to get that little bit of a run. But it's absolutely down to the wire, and interesting pit stop ideas that's vastly different to what we've seen all season from a number of drivers. We've usually seen some go a lot longer into the race to get themselves going, saving that little bit of fuel. But now it seems like maybe the undercut working out, taking tires versus not taking tires. This is just turned the whole race on its head, and might also be the gamble in the championship to win the championship on the second last round.
Well, I mean, I think they had to try something, because they weren't going to catch Chinsky the way they were going, and Jason Parker was doing a good job of holding them off. So maybe they're planning on working together. Just trying to take a guess at the thought process going on with the i75 Motorsports drivers.
Yeah, and you've also got like Jason Park miles ahead of Seb Gauthier, who lies in 6th place. The Pro-Am drivers open up, and they're having a great race with our pros, and that's where I have to say we managed to classify drivers Pro-Am, and you get people going, oh, he's just a Pro-Am driver. Well, not really. You might be a Pro-Am driver that's 0.001 off what you need to be as a pro. And Jason Park is showing it true to form, fighting out in 2nd place overall. He's putting in some serious times. He's the fastest in his class. He's done the best lap time of a 158.3. He's just, once again, going as fast as he can, giving it all that he's got. Same as David Morse, running in the top 10, in first in his class. I mean, you call the Pro-Am, you never look him down, because it's going to be the cars that's right on your tail. And taking a look at David Morse, with talking about someone on the tail, he's got Andrew Venaro checking and looking for every opportunity to get on by, maybe getting sick of the green and busy saying, well, don't you want to see a little bit of blue, David? Just a little bit of blue, a little bit of white, a bit of a color change. I'm sure you're sick and tired of leading the train. Come, let me offload the burdens. Well,
I mean, yeah, that's certainly one way of looking at it. But David Morris, you know, we are different classes, but they're all driving the same car. So if you're driving a Ferrari and Pro, you're driving the same Ferrari and Pro-Am. So David Morris, he's doing a good job of holding off Pro-Am and Pro drivers in behind him. And look at that big train. That's something to be proud of, folks. You know, amateurs leading Pro-Ams, leading Pros. David Morris keeps that up. He might be looking at a promotion for next season.
What a way to get it done, and what a way to put up the front. So David Morse entering the spoon, and you could see a little bit of a gap forming in the train, as we also saw Matt running a little bit wide at the top of spoon, bringing it back. And this is what we touched on a little bit during the start, is picking up incident points. And this track, especially through spoon, those 1Xs build up at a rate of knots, and you've got to be so careful not to be caught out. Also here through the Casio triangle, through the right and the left, just a little too far over and instantly pick up a 1X. And drive through at Suzuka is the equivalent of going and kicking a pinky toe up against a table during the winter evenings.
Oh, look! Taking a look here at the text on the back of Jay Steffi's car. Now I'm gonna have to get my glasses on. We've got some great camera angles here, but Jay Steffi just making sure anybody getting up on his back bumper knows what he thinks. So well done, Jay. I love the artwork on the Riot Motorsports Porsche you're driving this evening.
Oh, that's brilliant. Richard, you've got some amazing eyes there. I thoroughly enjoy that. We need to have that written everywhere. Well, Dale Peterson keeping back Colin McKenzie, and it looks like the Ferrari just snapped on the exit of 2. He was able to bring it back, but unfortunately is down the order. So Dale Peterson not quite having what he wanted to have, and unfortunately loses his side of the train. Andrew Venaro out there in his Ferrari 296. I've got to say, the blue and white really does suit the car. However, he needs to really get the hammer down to move up through the field, but not to take away. Up 5 positions from the start of the race. Metro right behind him is up 6 positions at the start. David Morse up 2 since the start of the race. We've had some incredibly hard charges throughout this race that's still keeping going despite whatever's gone down. There's cars trying to see their way through. There is a number of cars that are unfortunately out of the race, and drivers saying unfortunately due to damage they are not able to get back out. Neil Alexander being one of them. Too much damage onto the back of the car, had to tow back in, and no way to just see it through to the end, meet the minimum required amount of laps to be a point scorer. So just watching on the sidelines, cheering on his mates. But Justin Welsh having such a striking livery on that car. My heavens, that looks cool for a Mercedes.
That's about as cool as a Mercedes can look, isn't it? Yeah, Justin Welsh never disappoints us with his liveries, and always nice to see Justin putting the effort in with that beautiful paint scheme. Something I just wanted to point out there is, Stephen, Tyler Cato having that long pit stop, I'm assuming for tires, it's not paying off. We're less than 8 minutes left, and he's sitting now over 7 seconds behind Jason Park. He's a second behind his teammate Travis Newsom. That's not the call they wanted, but right now I-75 Motorsports sitting 3rd and 4th overall.
I wonder if taking tires was what they thought they were going to do, or was it a button that was left unticked, as Kevin Burke was nearly going and outbraking himself into the back of Matt, and that allowed Colin McKenzie to get on the back of him. Brett Thurman and David Bush III fighting out for 7th and 8th on our main screen. Still some incredible battles, but Travis Newsom is then going to be having a fistful of points over his own teammate just on the pit stop alone, and Jay Staffy is still in the mix there as well. The question that I want to know is the i75 Motorsports team going to swap drivers around, or is it going to be get off the radio? Because Travis Newsom is leading out his own teammate, but not by much. If you go and give up a few points now, if you back off the throttle, allow your teammate to come around you, you really stuff yourself up for the future. So I think at this point, if anyone makes a team call of, all right, yeah, multi 21, they're going to get told which side of Mount Fuji to fall off of.
Yeah, I think they've each given each other an opportunity to take a win earlier this season. I would expect that this late in the season, with only a 2-point differential, they're just driving for themselves. Whoever is ahead, but we'll find out later as the race progresses. Taking a look here, Andrew Ellis in 19th, followed by Cesar Jimenez. Cesar getting the car a little loose around first corner, and that allows Ellis to clear by. Ellis does not need a special invitation. He said, thank you very much. I'm going to go up through Snake here and continue on my merry way.
And you could see Caesar's eyes were as wide as dinner plates when it all went wrong there on his helmet. Joshua Chinsky leads out 7, going 8 seconds over the field. A dominating run thus far for the SRT purple driver, looking to put yet another win under his belt, but can't get too overly confident. We've got 5 minutes and 22 seconds. And looking at the lap estimator, because we got a new timing board, one I've got to say, absolutely lovely. We've got 22 laps expected to be done by our drivers, and Joshua Chinsky hoping to really run down the clock, also go and really make a solid run. So as he comes across the line, he's going to make it 21 laps done thus far, 4 minutes and 50 seconds to go. It's going to be a proper run for the Chev driver. Jason Park, got to take my hats off to the Pro-Am driver, up in second place. Also David Morse up into the top 10. We have got fights all over the show, but if you're going to show a strong effort to get ahead of the pack, you are at least putting a 3-second difference to you and your competitor. Otherwise, it's going to be follow the leader for a very long time, as we see with David Morse and Venaro a little bit further back. That was on our timing tower.
Yeah, speaking of timing towers, we're taking a look here at each of our classes, folks. That makes it easier for you to see. We're calling 3 different classes. We got Joshua Chinsky first in GT3 Pro. We've got Jason Park first in GT3 Pro-Am, and David Morse, who is the car on screen right now, first place in GT3 Am. So thank you very much to our producer. Nice new graphics to allow all the viewers at home to see what exactly going on in the classes.
Joshua Chinsky leads out the Pro, with Travis Newsom and Tyler Kato holds on to third. For the Pro-Am, it's Jason Park and Seb Gauthier holding on for second, trying to move his way up through the order. David Morse and Ian Cabana holding first and second for the AM class, with Cesar Jimenez, who unfortunately had that little bit of a tank slap bit, but was managed to save it in the Porsche. I mean, these are some great running. And David Morse, a cheeky little flash to Venaro, saying, okay, buddy, I'm still here. Just reminding you. Oh, and the glare coming off Colin McKenzie's car, going and feeling it. The sun has risen. And, well, Colin McKenzie getting a whole lot of it as he chases down Matt Sheriff, the twin turbo 6-cylinder, trying to catch up to the turbocharged V6 of the beautiful Chev. I mean, this is a V8 of the Chev. I always think it's a V6 because it just doesn't sound like a V8. Yeah, V8's got to sound like it's going to punch a polar bear.
Well, Chevy's famous for their V8, Steven. I can't see them ever running a V6, but hey, nonetheless, that glare. It's 8 o'clock in the morning now here. Oh, take a look here at Cesar Jimenez. Cesar Jimenez having himself a strong battle here, looking to get that position back that Andrew Ellis took off on him last lap around. Coming around the exit of the final corner down the straightaway, we've got Jimenez, Ellis, Jimenez, and I think we're going to see a little action at the end of the straightaway going into first corner.
Who's the last of the late breakers? Jimenez looks for the inside. Couldn't get that pass done. Ellis was able just to close the door only just. These two are having an absolute ball. And if you take away the number where it says overall and you just leave it blank, you could swear this is a fight for first place, because Andrew and Caesar are having a proper throwdown with one another, both going and pushing as hard as they can. This is brilliant racing, and also they're giving it just enough room to one another of no one to land up in any problems. Jack Polyak pulling into the pits from 27th. That's a bit of a late pit stop for him, and will be second time visiting the pits, so maybe concerned fuel wasn't going to be working out as he dives in. Josh Ochinsky, though, going to be carrying his pace all the way through, and I wonder if the team just keeping an eye on Joshua, saying, come on mate, if you can lift a little bit, it would help. Our tanks might be going a little bit too long, same as what happened at Sebring, as we do see our leader now starting the final lap. Let's see who has got enough in the tank to go that little bit longer, both as a person to go on the attack, and also whether the fuel needle is going to play in their favor as well.
Yeah, that's I'm pretty sure we don't have any worries with Joshua Chinsky. He's timed that out, and his pit time looks like he should have sufficient fuel. The I-75 Motorsports drivers, Travis Newsom and Tyler Cato, it'd be interesting to see who crosses the line ahead of each other. Right now, Travis Newsom got a slim lead over his teammate. Are they going to be gracious? But they're battling hard here. Oh, Colin McKenzie sanding it down the inside on David Morse. David Morse not wanting to risk his first place in class. It didn't get overly defensive there, but and Colin said, I see that spot. I'm going to dive in and take that, as Robert Jeffries has a black flag on the last lap.
Oh, not what you want to have on the last lap, that is for certain. Josh Ochinsky out in the front, a 9.5 second lead, going and really running away with this one, and going to be securing that top spot in the championship. So far it's been win after win after win for him. Couple of times he's slipped down the order, but he spent most of his time for the season going and putting some gold on the shelf. Well, it looks like he's going to be doing it all over again right here at Japan, right here at Suzuka, making his way to the 130R for the final time. Swings it through in towards the Casio triangle, hard on the brakes, right, then a left, back to a right. It sounds like a boxing match, and through the final corner he goes. Joshua Chinsky takes the victory overall and in class here at Suzuka.
Yeah, Joshua Chinsky, it's been a few weeks since he's been in victory lane, but going to be celebrating tonight or this morning. Jason Park, solid drive, second overall, first in class. What's going on with the I-75 Motorsports drivers? Travis Newsom ahead of Tyler Cato, and Chase Steffi close behind.
Gauthier will take first in his class ahead of Felix Feliz in second. David Morse will take the victory out in the GT3 AM, and you can see happy as can be, swinging left to right. He's done it. Ian Cabana will fall into second place for him. Kevin Bergquist coming across the line as a drag race all the way through. Cesar Jimenez going and fighting with Herbert Pineda a little bit early on, and it's Jimenez who managed to keep it all together after that snap. But also Justin Welsh now trying to make his way through. He's got James Hand just ahead of him. James Hand in the Mobil 1 colors, unfortunately not having some luck with the McLaren here at Suzuka, but good to see him coming out to the line. And well done to every single one of our drivers completing week 9 right here at Throttle Freaks. What a race it has been, and a couple of photo moments being taken right by the start line.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. This is a fabulous scenic track to get some good photo ops. They're getting ready to post on Instagram, and they may even be on there before we're off the air, Stephen.
Most certainly so. But as we're going to be taking a look at our provisional results, as you can see a couple of cars coming across the line. Joshua Chinsky will take the victory with William Fenton.
No.
Apologies, waiting for a couple of cars to come through, take the round out. I know Jack Polyak would just cross the line. William Fenton, I still feel so bad for the chap, unfortunately losing the rear end of his calf after fighting at the top, qualifying so high and smashing out just before the 130R. But here we go. Joshua Chinsky finishes up in first. Travis Newsom in second. Tyler Cato up in third. Haas Charger for our category was Matt Scherf in the pros. There's Jay Staffy, finishes up in fourth place. Brett Thurman, David Bush, Matt Scherf, Herb Benita, and William Fenton rounds out our ninth place.
In the Pro-Am category, Jason Park second overall with Seb Gauthier in second in class. Felix Feliz in third. And Andrew Bernaro, Colin McKenzie, Kevin Berquist, Dale Peterson, Sean Provo, Andrew Ellis, and James Hand, all finishing on the lead lap.
And time for our AM. It's David Morse who got the win ahead of Ian Cabana. Cesar Jimenez holding on to third place with the Haas Charger Barry Cochran going and trying to make his way up. But it's fourth place, Matt Mars, Justin Welsh in fifth. Barry Cochran holds on for sixth. Andy Mills, Robert Jeffries, Caleb Selner, and rounding out in 10th place is Neil Alexander.
Well, that was a lot of fun at Suzuka. I love Suzuka. Great track. Been around forever. It's there's not too many tracks where it's basically kind of a figure eight. Is there? You got the bridge going over top of the other section. But Josh Uchinsky, what a clinic.
Absolute phenomenal drive, and we're going to be having a chat to a couple of our winners here tonight, right here on Race and Nexus. And honestly, I thought this was a race where Josh Uchinsky is going to have a little bit more pressure put on him, and ultimately going and pulling away with a 9-second gap at the end to Jason Park. Can't wait to have a chat to him and just find out what was his game plan coming into this race. Josh Uchinsky, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you guys.
Josh, well done on a stellar victory, and also we need to talk about BOPing on the Chevrolet, because a 9-second gap to the field straight out the box. Soon as it was green, you put your foot down and just kept going, and seems like head down the whole way. What was the game plan in terms of refueling? You pulled in a lot earlier than you've usually done.
Yeah, so generally speaking, I'm really able to fuel save, but in the practices that we'd done with SRT, I'd noticed that even when I was trying to fuel save, I was only getting maybe an extra 0.2 in regards to the time gained in the pits. I was like, you know what, this isn't worth it. I haven't been really doing a whole lot of fuel saving because I've been trying to make sure I have the pace around here in sketchier conditions. So I just was pedal to the metal. And then I noticed there was a little bit of a gap growing prior to the pit stop. So I tried to save a little bit just to make sure I could fuel at the end. But it was something with the Corvette fuel of where it jumped from like 7.6 gallons to fill up to 7.9. And I was right at that fuel window of being above it. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and just push all the way. I wasn't going to risk getting Jason Park back in my toe at any point in time.
Especially since he was dragging Travis Newsom and Tyler a little bit closer to you. But now taking a full scoop of points, one more round to go. How are you feeling heading into the final race next week?
I mean, it's stressful. I mean, got to be honest, this is probably the closest championship that I've ever had to contend with. And I've been doing leagues for a long time. So it's a blast, but it's definitely, it rattles the nerves. But I am excited for next week. I am a huge fan of Magny Course. I actually have only driven it once with you guys back with Throttle Freaks a couple seasons ago, and I just fell in love with it. Of where it's a little bit of straight line speed and then also a little bit of technical, and I love technical. So I'm excited for the championship. It should be a great final round. It's just got to keep head down and keep doing what I've been doing all season.
Well, absolutely great one. Before we let you go to enjoy the celebration, and really well done on that victory, anything you would like to say to all the drivers here at Throttle Freaks, to all the teams that you were racing out, and most especially everyone out in the virtual grandstands right here at Race and Nexus?
Absolutely. Well, first off, I want to do a big shout out to all my fans out there and the Chevy mechanics that are just putting in time and time again on this car to make it the way it is. It's just fantastic. Families included in that. I appreciate all the cold Gatorades that you bring me out at the track. For SRT, the community that we have, it is just flawless. It makes the racing way more fun to have a good group of guys to just race alongside, and I can't emphasize enough the amount of practice that just as a group that we put in. There's not a better group out there. Shout out Throttle Freaks. This season has been absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to watch this broadcast back, courtesy of you guys with Racer Nexus, and onto the finale. It should be a fantastic closer.
Well, absolutely wonderful and great to hear. Looking forward to seeing you next week for the final round at Magny-Cours, and good luck trying to keep the nerves down for that one, especially since the championship is right there for the taking. Josh Ochinsky from SRT Purple taking the victory in the GT3 Pro and overall. Richard, but you've managed to catch up with our third place driver, Tyler Cateau.
How's it going?
Tyler, solid effort tonight. The I-75 Motorsports teams did well. Honestly, I thought I was expecting a little more. Were there any team orders at the end on going around the last lap? You were really close together, but you're also really close in the championship right now.
So I'll break it down for you. It all happened in the pit stop. For some reason, my car decided it was a little bit more thirsty than it should have been, and it took on 13 gallons, and I didn't notice until Travis passed me, and I had ended up losing like 8 seconds in the pits, and then I also overshot the box a little bit, and then yeah, just really bad luck.
Yeah, we saw your pit time. We were wondering if you'd taken tires, and we were thinking that was a bad strategy, but yeah, that's gotta hurt. But hey, you've got one more week to go, and I mean, you had a solid race. You had solid pace, both you and Travis. One more week to go. Try and hunt down Josh Ochinsky. And you guys pretty much have the team championship wrapped up, but what do you think? What do you think your chances are? You guys got anything for him at Magny-Cours?
I don't know. I have no idea. After tonight was really like the nail in the coffin, I feel like, unless Chinsky has a bad race or that the Chevy's just, or the Corvette's just not really good around there. We'll see. But I wasn't expecting this outcome tonight. I was expecting us to honestly be way lower down, just given like the data from the people driving the Porsche. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this result. I would have loved to have taken second instead of, fourth, but it is what it is.
They can't all be victories, but you certainly put on a great showing all season long. We look forward to seeing what you can do next week, Tyler. Anybody you'd like to thank or give a shout out to or say hi to while you're on the air?
Sure. Just thanks to my team. Thanks to you guys, Racer Nexus, Throttle Freaks, amazing league, amazing broadcast. You guys are awesome. It's been a great season, and I'm looking forward to the finale next week.
Excellent. Well, we'll see you next week. We're looking forward to it as well, Tyler.
Thanks. Have a good night, guys.
You too.
Pit stop's not going to plan, and that unfortunately can take you out of the running. One person that had a great pit stop and finishes ahead of the class, second overall, Jason Park. Well, we're going to start a ride. How are you feeling after that?
Oh man, that was a tough race. Was trying to hold Kato back for the first half until the pit cycle. And I think he was saying that he took too much fuel. There was a glitch in his fuel calculation, so that gave me some breathing room.
That being said, you had a busy time out there, also going and putting in some incredible laps. What was the game plan coming here into Suzuka to grab as many points as possible for the championship?
Yeah, unfortunately I missed last week's race, so I don't know. I like this track. I've had some good success here, so I just needed to get a good qualifying lap down, and luckily I did start the front row, and I got lucky there with William Fenson and Cato battling a little bit to give me some more breathing room as well in the first half of the race. And yeah, I just like I think I got a bit lucky there with Tyler's pit issue, and I was able to hold second.
Well, it was an absolute run of note, and I think you're going and really showing your pace. Question: game plan, final round, heading into next week. Magny-Cours, how are you feeling? What's the game plan to score those points, and also to look at doing what you've just done here at Suzuka?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to get some more practice laps in this week, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of that track, to be honest, but yeah, if I can get a showing like this, I think the championship this year might be in the books.
Well, it's going to be a great one to see. We wish you all the luck. Before we let you go to enjoy the celebrations on a victory in class, a second overall, anything you would like to say to all the drivers and teams here at Throttle Freaks, to everyone out in the virtual grandstands joining us out in Japan, here at Suzuka at the Racer Nexus VIP grandstands?
As always, the boys at Riot and you guys in the booth, you guys always do a great job. So shout out to you guys, and shout out to all the drivers in the league. It's a pleasure racing with everybody, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Absolutely great stuff. Jason, congratulations, and we can't wait to have a chat to you next week at Magny-Cours.
Cheers, guys.
Well, next up is going to be Richard catching up with Seb after a stellar fight.
Hey, guys.
Goche. My goodness. Back-to-back weeks here in the broadcast booth. Quite the strong effort tonight.
Yeah, like back-to-back. I'm on a streak here.
I mean, you're closing the season hard there, and I think Felix might be a little out of range unless he has a horrific week next week. But you're solidly in second. You must be pleased.
Yeah, I mean, I just do as best I can, and you know, let the chips fall where they may.
Let the chips fall where they may. Well, where they fell was second place tonight. You got to be happy with the efforts you've shown, and I mean, we talked last week. You're talking about how your consistency is paying off, and it's certainly paying off tonight. Magny-Cours next week. You gonna show us something special next week there, Seb? We're gonna maybe get that first place in Pro-Am?
I don't know. I'm gonna try, but I think I've raced that track once before, and I don't really remember it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, you're due.
Try my best. Yeah.
Well, it's been a fun season. You coming back next season with us?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I wouldn't miss this.
Yeah, and I'm just going to interrupt your interview a little bit for a second, Seb. For those at home, season applications are being accepted now. The entries are you can enter now. Anybody, whether you're in the league now or you wanting to join this league, Throttle Freaks is open for registration for season 3. So come do what Seb Goche does. Get yourself on a podium, get yourself interviewed on Racer Nexus, and show off your mad skills. Seb, we've really enjoyed having you racing here for a number of seasons, and looking forward to seeing what you do next week and next season. But anybody like to give a shout out to or thank tonight?
Yeah, thank you. I love the broadcast. You know, it's the best. Thank you guys. Thank the wife, the kids, everybody for letting me do this. And yeah, we'll see you guys next season. Well, next week.
We'll see you next week and next season. Seb Goche, ladies and gentlemen, second place in Pro-Am this evening.
Bye.
That being said, our third place driver that has been waiting for the applications to open, and we have Felix Feliz. Felix, welcome to the commentary box. Just want to remind you to pass on to your team as well that applications are open to be part of Throttle Freaks. I know that you've been trying to egg them on a little bit. Have you already got the paperwork sorted and sent it on and just reminded them to put it in a timely fashion?
Buddy, they've been reminded every week. So I'm hoping they finally join me next season, but we'll see. We'll see.
Well, you've done the SGE Sports absolutely proud here tonight. You were fighting it out. I don't think you're on the nice list of the bad Santa, though. Brawling it out right through the race. How are you feeling after that? Fighting to hold your third place, but also getting to fight out against the Mr. Bad Santa himself, Brett Thurman.
First of all, shout out to Brett, man. He put it on me tonight. He was definitely quicker than me, no doubt about that. So I was just trying to stay in front of him as long as I could. And then it didn't help that I overshot my box during few pit cycles. So it wasn't a good night, fellas. It wasn't a good night.
Well, if this is not a good night, I would hate to see what it looks like on a fantastic night, because, I mean, a third place in class, you were really trying to close the distance to Seb and maximizing your points in the Pro-Am category. Heading into the final round next week, what's the game plan to put the Mustang at the top? The very few Mustangs we have racing here, and so far you seem to be the front runner with it.
Trying to stick with Seb. I just did enough points to win the championship, and that's what I'm shooting for. Nothing fancy. Just try to stick as close to Seb as possible.
Fair enough, and if you manage to get ahead of him, even better, I would say.
Exactly.
Absolutely awesome stuff. Well, before we let you go to enjoy the celebrations and to cool off after a phenomenal fight here at Suzuka, anything you want to say to all the drivers and teams here at Throttle Freaks, to everyone out in the virtual grandstands out at Racer Nexus?
First of all, just a shout out to you guys. You guys do an awesome job every week, man. I really enjoy the broadcast. You guys make it really enjoyable. Of course, my teammates. Hopefully, I'll be back next year. My wife and my number one fan, my daughter. So, yeah. So, thank you.
Absolutely wonderful stuff, Felix. We look forward to having a chat with you, and fingers crossed for the championship. It's going to be a difficult one, and right down to the wire.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
And with that being said, let's move on to our AM category as, well, Richard's managed to catch up with David Morse.
Hey, guys.
David, congratulations. Another solid race, another solid result. 12th overall, first in class. Your points lead in the championship is getting bigger. Are you looking for a promotion for next season?
Well, I'll leave that up to the league, but I can see the writing on the wall.
Well, you know, I've raced with you years ago. We've seen your progression, especially since joining SRT and helping organize the practice sessions. Getting promoted up, assuming it happens up to Pro-Am, would be something you worked hard for, strive for, and deserve. You know, right now you just really gotta get some points next week, and I think the championship's yours. No?
If you look, Caleb and Caesar are both really close, so I need to have a solid race. But this is kind of stressful, this trying to run for a championship.
Kind of.
Yeah, just a little, especially tonight.
Yeah, you know, we focused a lot on your battles tonight because you were in the midst of things, and you were holding off some very fast drivers. A little bit shaken in the driver's seat, or was it under control for you for the most part?
Well, when Andrew and Colin came up on me, they had a little more pace, and I wasn't going to risk it. I wanted the biscuit, so I let them go. But yeah, just trying to be smart.
Yeah, we saw that late in the race. I said, Colin, make that move, dive down the inside, and that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking, right now you've got first in class. It's going to cost you, you know, a point or two, but better to get the victory. But earlier on, you're holding a half dozen cars behind you for a number of laps. So you've obviously got some good pace and certainly some good skill going on in driving. Really looking forward to see what you can do at Magny-Core. Like you said, Caleb Zellner didn't have the race he wanted to tonight. He's a few points back of you now, though. But I think it's a no drop week, so it'd be really interesting. Really looking forward to see what you can do there, David.
Well, thank you. Congrats to my teammate Josh on the win and Seb for second in Pro-Am. We work really hard. And congrats to Caesar and then Ian for second in today's AM.
Yeah, David
And
Moore's
my
always
wife
making
and the
sure
team.
Yeah, well, you got to thank the wife and you got to thank the team. But Dave Moore's always making sure the amateurs getting their due. And congratulations, David. We'll see you next week. Hoping to see a nice end to your season.
All right, man. Be gentle with Caesar.
Well, we're always gentle.
Thanks, guys, for the broadcast.
Thank you.
Always wonderful to have a chat to him. But coming into the booth, and well, I've got to go to our judges for the drift in turn 1. They say 7 out of 10. Cesar Jimenez, welcome to the commentary booth. And first of all, well done on the catch when the Porsche decided it wanted to slide around. You got a 7 out of 10 on the drifting score, so still room to improve. But a 3rd place in class. How are you feeling after that?
I'm feeling good. I feel like I've come a long way from the beginning of this league when I started hitting from 8th. I'm happy I got to there at this point. And thanks for the drift score. Porsche's a bit slippery up here, trying to drag the brakes into these long corners. It definitely feels like the rug's pulled out from under me.
Fair enough, fair enough. And also the fight towards the end with Andrew Ellis. Take us through that nose to battle. You two were literally all over each other's gearboxes, trying to figure out how to get past. That must have been just a ton of fun.
Oh yeah, I was having a great time with Andrew. I'm glad I had a fun race with him. Trying to get past him, I was trying to get as close as I could and try and make a move, but I didn't find a chance. He was hitting those corners faster than I could at the time. I know I was getting really close to him around, what was the corner's name? Like the long straight, almost by the end. I almost was able to pick up some speed, but I just couldn't get past him. But regardless, I had a really fun time.
Well, it was great to see you battling it out and managing to put yourself on the podium for the second last round. What's the game plan heading into the final race of the season next week? Magnicor, right here at Throttle Freaks.
My plan, hopefully, is to survive and not slip off that track, because that is a very technical track. I practiced it last week just to get a taste for it, and man, it's technical. But I'm gonna have to put some extra time just to get used to that. But I think I can get used to it, because those tight turns, that close track, I like that sort of stuff. So hopefully I can do good and improve for myself and maybe get out of 3rd place for once.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you going for the checkered flag in the GT3 AM standings. Before we let you go to enjoy the celebrations and to cool off after some stellar racing out here at Throttle Freaks, anything you would like to say to all the fans, to all the drivers and teams joining us here tonight?
Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Appreciate it.
Absolutely well done. Cesar Jimenez managing to capture 3rd in the AM class and really putting in a solid effort right through the race. That being said, Richard, we have seen nose to tail battles up and down through the field. The championships are incredibly close heading into the final round of the championship. I mean, this is going to be a wild one. This is not to be missed. And this is Throttle Freaks. This is why, I'm even wanting to put an application in to get behind the wheel and see if maybe I can get a top 30.
Well, I think I could get a top 50 in this league, but that's about it, Steven. I think they only take 50 drivers. So, but overall, what an exciting night of racing we had here at Suzuka. But next week, Magnicor, to finish it off, it's a no-drop week, so all's on the line.
That's going to be a monster one, and a massive thank you to everyone joining us. So well done to the drivers and teams and all the admin behind the scenes of Throttle Freaks. Also, we've got to give a shout out to our amazing producer that's been, he says he pushes the buttons, but there's a lot of work that he does behind the scenes, including a little fireworks at the end that we've been keeping an eye on. Rob Campbell, who's been going and showing us all these beautiful views. Also to Richard Swindells, the legendary voice that's been soothing you all and calling the action here at Suzuka. Big thank you to our partners Apex Sim Racing and Track Cams for Gourmet. We are looking forward to the final round of the Throttle Freaks Championship, the GT3 Championship, next week, and you can catch it right here on the Race Nexus channel and so much more. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification icon, and leave a like. Also, let us know in the comments, who do you think is going to take the victory in our Pro Class, Pro-Am, and Am as we go to Magnicor next week. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. And like always, a good morning, a good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.